Radio. I'm Eileen Alfandary. Control of Congress and Democrats say the future of democracy hang in the balance on the final day of voting in midterm elections. All 435 seats in the House and 1/3 of the Senate seats are being contested. Election deniers are on the ballot at the local, state, and federal levels. President Biden campaigned in Maryland last night. Christopher Martinez reports.
President Joe Biden spoke Monday evening at a Democratic National Committee event in Bowie, Maryland. He was endorsing the Democratic candidate for governor, Wes Moore, who could become the third African-American elected governor in the nation's history, and, after Inauguration Day, likely the only current one. Biden says Moore's Republican opponent, Dan Cox, is an election denier and supported the January 6th attack on the nation's capital.
For Wes Moore, patriotism meant leaving his family and putting on a country's uniform and leading his fellow soldiers in combat. His opponent, patriotism means putting on a baseball cap, inviting people to attack the Capitol. You can't be pro-American and pro-insurrection. It's real simple.
Biden also praised local Democrats who are running for Congress. Right now, the Senate is evenly split between Democrats and Republicans, while in the House of Representatives, a change of as few as 5 seats could flip control to the Republicans. I'm Christopher Martinez.
Former President Trump campaigned in Ohio for Senate Republican candidate J.D. Vance. He once again teased the possibility of an early announcement that he'll make another run for president.
I'm going to be making a very big announcement on Tuesday, November 15th at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the attack on her husband will affect her decision on whether to remain in Congress after the midterm election. Pelosi's voice cracked with emotion as she said in a CNN interview she was sad because of her husband, but also sad for the country. She called on Republicans to stop the misinformation that is fueling political violence and urged Americans to vote to defend our democracy. The Justice Department is sending monitors to 64 jurisdictions in 24 states in an effort to ensure compliance with federal voting rights laws in the midterm elections. Alex Gonzalez reports.
Officials from the Department of Justice confirmed they are expanding in-person monitoring of polling locations following threats, incidents, and attempts to interfere with the election process. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the president hopes the country's ideals are upheld at the polls.
Violence has no place in our democracy. He will continue to condemn violence, as you've heard him say, as you've heard me say from this very podium. He believes other leaders of both parties have a responsibility to communicate just that.
Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, tweeted Monday that independent-minded voters should choose a Republican Congress given the presidency is Democratic, and later clarified that his historical party affiliation had always been independent, with a voting history consisting entirely of Democrats until now. I'm Alex Gonzalez for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
The leader of a small island nation, Tuvalu Prime Minister Kausia Natano, is proposing a treaty against fossil fuels at the COP27 climate summit in Egypt. The idea of a non-proliferation treaty for coal, oil, and natural gas has been advanced by churches, including the Vatican, and some scientists, but Natano's speech gives it a bigger boost in front of a global audience. Natano said it's getting too hot and there's very little time to slow and reverse the increasing temperature. He said, therefore, it's essential to prioritize fast-acting strategies that avoid the most warming. Small island nation leaders also called for a global tax on the profits of fossil fuel corporations that are making billions of dollars of profit during a global energy crisis triggered by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda said while the fossil fuel industry is profiting, the planet is burning. Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes testified in his seditious conspiracy trial that there was no plan for his group of extremists to attack the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. He told jurors he had no idea his followers were going to join the pro-Donald Trump mob to storm the Capitol, and that he was upset after he found out that some did. Text messages on the day of the attack, though, tell a different story. In them, Rhodes referred to Trump supporters who entered the Capitol as actual patriots, and rather than telling his followers to stay away from the attack, he called them to the area. I'm Eileen Alfandary for Pacifica Radio.